Hello, everybody. This is Mrs. McHugh's little boy, Frankie, speaking. At the sound of the chime, it will be exactly time to tell you about Warner Brothers' new radio romance, Broadway Gondolier. Let's start by introducing a few members of the cast. First, the sweetheart of the Broadway Gondolier, played by one of Hollywood's most captivating comedians. There's blue in her eyes, gold in her hair, and honey on her lips. Miss Joan Blondell.
Oh, Frankie, you say the cutest things of any man I know.
Thank you, my dear, thank you. And now I want to present the friend and teacher of the Broadway Gondolier, a man who 20 years ago sang opera in Italy and is still taking bows. Ladies and gentlemen, Professor Alberto Da Vinci, played by that grand actor, Adolphe Menjou.
La donne mobile, qual più mal vento, muta da tempo, Lady Fetcher.
Delightful, Professor, delightful. Next, we introduce the famous Mrs. Oscar Flagenheim, president of the Flagenheim Cheese Corporation, who will say a few words about the loveliness of her Liederkranz. Mrs. Cheese. Meet Mrs. Flagenheim.
Experience has taught me that what a cheese needs is romance. Yes, Mr. Richards, romance. Who buys the cheese for the table? Women, mothers. The hand that rocks the cradle buys the cheese.
That was the comedy star everyone loves, Louise Fazenda, and she's at her funniest in this picture. Now for some of the music in the Broadway Gondolier, played by one of radio's favorite orchestras. In case you haven't recognized who it is, we'll let him speak for himself.
Good evening, everybody. This is Ted Fiorito greeting you.
It's a great cast, isn't it? But as Al Jolson says, you ain't heard nothing till you've heard. You guessed it. 4 guitars and a boy. No, 4 boys and a guitar. The Mills Brothers.
I ain't coming home until the fall, and I might not get back home at all. Lily's back in town.
And here's another surprise. The man known as Candy, the fellow with a Pullman car voice. 1 upper and 1 lower. Okay, Candy, give us a few bars. Ain't I the clip? A few bars of Candy, go ahead.
You can be kissed.
I'd like to know who's gonna do it.
I'll persist.
And I'll resist.
I'll still insist until you're gonna be kissed.
Oh, yeah.
Thank you, Candy. We only wanted a sample. Now for some more stars from Broadway Gondolier. William Gargan, who plays the villain. Wait till you see him in the picture. George Barbier and Hobart Cavanaugh. See, it's the club, boys. Grant Mitchell, the man who never gets excited. And now let's go to Italy and meet the Broadway Gondolier himself. Ladies and gentlemen, the singing star of stage, screen, and radio. The boy with 20 million sweethearts. Dick Powell.
Il fu labbro di rosa, preme tutto d'amor.
Vieni caro mio prezzo, felice complesso, corona d'amor.
It's a shame you have to go home so early.
Well, early to bed and early to rise. But I don't care anything about money.
I have always been a sort of woman hater, and I never saw the girl I catered to. I considered every girl an agitator outside.